In the series Imminent Peril, we are looking at warnings to humanity issued by the scientific community for over 35 years now. Warnings that most of us never received. Okay, next up. In 1993, the Union of Concerned Scientists issued a World Scientists Warning to Humanity, which was signed by over 1,700 scientists from around the world, including the majority of the Nobel laureates in the sciences. The language in this document is less cautious than the statement by the RSNAS. The warning to humanity spells out quite plainly the peril we face and the necessity and urgency of resolving these problems. It also helps to point in the direction of a possible solution. Humanity is warned that we must make fundamental changes if we are to avert the collision toward which our present course is steering us. The scientists point to the various vital environmental systems which are suffering from critical stress: the atmosphere, the freshwater resources, the oceans, the soils, the forests, and living species. They point out that much of this damage is either permanent or irreversible on a scale of centuries. They point out that much of this damage is either permanent or irreversible on a scale of centuries. They emphasize that we are quickly approaching many of the Earth's limits. They state that the current economic practices in both the developed and the developing world cannot continue without doing irrevocable damage to the planet's vital systems. The statement places a limit of only a few decades before we have lost any opportunity to resolve the threats now facing us. They iterate, we, the undersigned, senior members of the world's scientific community, hereby warn all humanity of what lies ahead, a great change in our stewardship of the Earth and the life on it is required if vast human misery is to be avoided and our global home on this planet is not to be irretrievably mutilated. The document admonishes the developed countries for being the greatest polluters in the world and exhorts them to reduce overconsumption. It also points out that the developed nations have an obligation to provide aid to the developing nations. This is incumbent upon the affluent nations because much of their wealth has accrued through the extortion of resources and labor from developing nations. The developing nations cannot make the changes necessary without the financial resources and technical skills which can only be supplied by the developed nations. We must realize that we are all in this together, and we will only resolve these problems if we refuse to leave any group of people behind. Failure will trap us in spirals of environmental decline, poverty, and unrest, leading to social, economic, and environmental collapse. The success of this endeavor, the document points out, will require a major reduction in violence and war. The trillions of dollars devoted annually to the preparation and conduct of war should be diverted to these new challenges where they will be badly needed. The success of this endeavor, the document points out, will require a major reduction in violence and war. The trillions of dollars devoted annually to the preparation and conduct of war should be diverted to these new challenges where they will be badly needed. The warning to humanity concludes that we need a new ethic for humanity, an ethic of compassion and responsibility toward all of humanity and toward the earth. Now, in this second year of the Trump junta, are we following this path prescribed by the world's preeminent scientists over 30 years ago? No. Have we ever followed this path? Not really. And we're beginning to see the effects. Next, I will bring another warning from the science academies of the world, working together now to try and figure out what the hell is happening.